So today we are talking about sleeping pads. I did a video about 2 months ago on sleeping pads. It was like Nemo versus Thermarest or something like that. Anyway, it got really good views, so I thought I'd do another video. This one's gonna be a little bit different though. We're gonna get into the specs a little bit more on these sleeping pads, and I kind of feel like I want to name a new king of sleeping pads because I feel like the reign of one particular sleeping pad has been dethroned, and it's just my opinion, okay? It's just my personal opinion. Do not feel like because I'm saying that you've got to go out and buy another sleeping pad. Please don't do that. Buy the sleeping pad of your choice. I'm gonna give you a run through of specs of 3 of what I think are the most popular sleeping pads on the market right now, and why I think they're super popular, and then just kind of what I would do if I were you. But before we get into any of that stuff, today's video is sponsored by Backcountry. Backcountry, thank you so much for sponsoring today's video. Let's get into the sleeping pads. Let's get into the sleeping pads. You get into a sleeping bag. I think we should probably get onto the sleeping pads, huh? Okay, so the 3 that I've chosen are the Thermarest NeoAir Xtherm, the Nemo Tensor Insulated, and the Thermarest NeoAir Uberlite. So I don't know how these companies come up with these names, like NeoAir Uberlite. That's like the Matrix met taxi cabs. Get it? Because of Neo and Uber. So right away, you can see there's drastic size differences between these sleeping pads. And these are all considered like ultralight sleeping pads, which is really interesting. I think it's probably a little unfair to discuss like the size differences because these are a little bit different, each of them anyway, because this one is the large version, this one is the rectangle regular wide version, and this one is the large version. So they're, you know, manufacturers are making different sizes and all that stuff. But I'll just tell you, based on the sleeping pads that I have at my disposal, that's what I've got. This particular one, the large version, which is, I believe, 77 inches long and 25 inches wide. That's a big pad. The Nemo is the regular wide version. This size is 72 by 25 inches. And you can get this in a 77 in the long version as well. Actually, I think it's like 76 inches. And then the Uberlite, this one that I have, is the large version as well. And that size is 77 by 25 inches. Okay, so if you want to see some of these specs yourself, what I like to do is I like to go to backcountry.com. I click on activities, I click on hike camp, and then I scroll down to the hike camping section where you can shop by category. And here you'll see sleeping. So you click on sleeping, and then you can see sleeping pads. Click on that, and it'll pull up all of the sleeping pads that we're talking about today, and even a whole lot more. So here's the Nemo Equipment Tensor Insulated Sleeping Pad. Click on that, and then you scroll down and you'll be able to see all the technical specs. You'll be able to see that it's made out of 20 denier nylon. You'll be able to see all the sizing, all the weights, everything that you want to see. Also, if you want, you can actually chat with their gearheads. Their gearheads are former Olympians, they're former athletes, they're former trail guides. They know what they're talking about. I've used them myself when I've looked for gear. Also, I do have a coupon code. It's Dan15. It should be able to get you 15% off of a full priced item. Some exclusions do apply, but go ahead, try it out, and hopefully it'll save you guys a couple bucks. The other difference between the Nemo and these pads is that the Nemo is a rectangle, so it doesn't taper at the bottom where your feet are. These other two do, and I think you might be able to get these in a non-tapered version. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe it's possible. And then they all come with pump sacks. In my last video, I said that the Thermarests didn't come with pump sacks. That was a mistake. Can you believe I made a mistake on video? And then one more difference between these ones here, the Thermarests, and the ones you can purchase now is that these ones have the older valve on them. They now have like a wing nut style valve that's supposed to be easier to use, and it's a little bit nicer. These ones have the older valve on them that's been around for like 30 years apparently, which is really interesting. So those are going to be some of the differences, but let's just get into now some of the specs and why I think there may be a new reigning king. So you probably want to know my experience with these sleeping pads. I have spent at least 10 nights out in the backcountry on every single pad at a minimum. The Nemo is the one I have the most experience with. I've been using this one for, oh man, probably a couple of years now. And I really enjoy this one. These other two I've used quite a bit this year. This one I used more in the winter time, obviously. This is a more of a 4-season pad. This one is considered more of a 3-season pad. And this one is sort of like the borderline 3 to 4 season pad. Okay, so the reason these are drastically different in sizes is because they are all made out of different materials and they are all supposedly for completely different seasons. This one is a pad that you're definitely going to be okay with in the winter. You could probably take this below 0 degrees and still be safe. You probably won't be super warm. This particular pad is a 3.5 R value. This one I personally have had down to about 20 degrees, and it does start to get a chill around that mark is what I've found. This is a 2.3 R value. There's a ton of charts online that will tell you what R value is in relation to temperature. It's total preference. This one's a 2.3 and I've had it down to 42 degrees and I was totally fine. I think you could probably get this down to about freezing, 32 degrees, and you'd probably be okay. I would think maybe at that point you're gonna start to feel a bit of a chill, but I don't know that the vast majority of backpackers out there, especially weekend warriors, are really going that cold. They're mainly going 3-season. The other big differences between these pads are the materials that they're made out of. So this one is made out of a 15 denier nylon. This one is made out of a 20 denier nylon. And this one is made out of a 70 denier nylon. To totally not confuse you, just know that this pad is pretty delicate. This pad can take a bit more abuse. I have found that this sleeping pad is still pretty durable. I don't really worry too much about, you know, poking holes in it or anything like that. I'm a pretty careful person when it comes to my sleeping pads anyway. I have never had a leak in a sleeping pad yet, and probably because I have so many that I've spread them out as far as usage, so it's not like I've had one the whole time. I've got actually a bin full of sleeping pads, so, and I own 2 of these, so take that for what it's worth as well. But each of these pads, for as many nights that I have slept on these ones individually, I have not had any issues with anything leaking. Now, this pad is made out of 15 denier nylon, and that's gonna mean that you gotta be really careful with it. And I know there are a lot of people complaining online that this pad has been ripping or puncturing. So you're like taking the commitment to a 15 denier nylon sleeping pad. You just gotta be more careful. So the reason you're gonna buy this pad over this pad is pretty obvious. It's gonna be size, it's gonna be weight, and it's gonna be temperature rating. What I've noticed with these 2 sleeping pads is that they're super similar in their style of comfort. So this one is like the super toned down version of this. These are only 2.5 inches thick. And one thing that I have discovered with both of these pads is that when I'm laying on it, I can develop almost like a lump in the middle of my back. Kind of like if you've got your car and your lumbar support is too much. And you gotta push the button on the side to get that lumbar support where you want it. You can adjust these as well by deflating them a little bit. So I noticed that if I took the valve and I just let a little bit of air out while I was laying on it, I could bring and sort of balance out and get that lump to kind of go flat in the middle. But there is a balance there, because if you let out too much and like if you roll on your side, you're gonna definitely feel your hip or a shoulder or something touching the ground. This one's just a lot easier to get that comfortable point for me anyway. So when I'm sleeping on it, I'm like gold. I don't have to really worry about it. I can just blow this up to, you know, what I know is gonna be right for me. I can set it and forget it and I'm good. This one is 12 ounces, where this one is 19 ounces. So this is almost a ½ pound heavier than this pad. Okay, so bottom line, if you know that you're never gonna backpack below freezing, right? And you're 100% confident that you're gonna be, you know, careful with your gear and you're not gonna have to worry about rocks and abrasions, then I'm gonna tell you, for sure, pick up the Uberlite. This is a fantastic pad. In my opinion, it's worth every penny. If you're a little bit more rough with your gear and you want something that's gonna be a little bit warmer in the colder weather, if you're a cold sleeper, grab the Nemo, especially if you want to set it and forget it, instant comfort. This is like the luxury pad. If you're a cold sleeper, you want all season. You don't want to spend money on 2 pads for a 3 season and a 4 season because you're the winter guy too, but you're, you know, okay with being warmer in the summer months, then you might want to just grab this pad. This thing's built like a tank and it's super warm. This is overkill warm. This is like below 0 Fahrenheit warm. So if that's you and you're wanting the tank of a sleeping pad, this is your sleeping pad here. Man, but I'm gonna tell you, I think the new reigning king for me anyway is the Uberlite. All right guys, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Also subscribe for more. Hit that bell notification so that I can send you a video every time it's released. And I do have an Instagram. I will make sure I put that information right here for you guys. Follow me on Instagram and I will see you on the next one.